Hello, BookTube. It's Tuesday, and that means Tag Tuesday, which is ordinarily of no significance to me since I'm an outcast, a leper, a pariah. I'm hated by my fellow booktubers who never tag me in anything, but today I was tagged in not one but two tags. So I'm going to do them both in a tag-a-palooza. The first one is the Cozy Autumn book tag, which was created by Lucy at the Book Bell, and I was tagged by Book Chat with Pat, who claims, on very little evidence, that she often tags me in tags, and that my complaints are therefore completely groundless. And I sense trouble. In the title of the tag alone, I sense trouble. The word cozy gives me the heebie-jeebies. It didn't once upon a time, but it does now that it's been intensely commercialized. Now that it's a billion-dollar industry. So we shall see what we shall see. But I have a feeling that these questions are going to be geared for a radically different kind of reader than myself. Let's see. Question number one. What books always remind you of fall/autumn? None. None. I don't do any seasonal reading. And I don't know that I mean, occasionally I've stumbled across it, sometimes in a murder mystery or a novel. It will be autumn when the thing starts or when the thing concludes, but there's nothing that always reminds me of any season because I'm reading feverishly the whole time. So let's move on to question number two. What is your favorite autumnal book cover? Couldn't pick an autumnal book cover out of a police lineup. I assume that it's colorful dead leaves. So I could look at any one of, I have about 1,000 romance novels. I'm sure that some of them are autumnal, are set in the autumn and with carved pumpkins and sweaters and scarves and whatnot. I'm sure they would have fallen leaves on them, but it wouldn't mean anything to me. So I would just be picking at random. So we'll move on to question three. We'll hope for something along the way here. Question number three is, what is your favorite autumnal drink to read with? I don't drink while I read because I'm reading. When I'm reading, I'm not constantly thinking about this. Better not. Better be. Hang on. I'm gonna look at the page still. Now you can't do anything while you read, especially drinking, which is going to pour liquid onto your book or onto your electronic device. So I don't have a reading beverage. So I don't drink while I read. I'm reading while I read. So we'll just move on. Question number four. Do you prefer to read late at night or early in the morning? Well, this is a little firmer ground since I like both. I read late into the night, and it's usually the thing that I do first thing. I don't usually like to join the melee of the internet right away. I mean, I live online. I'm a thoroughly online creature. I work online. I earn my dog food money online. But I don't like to do that right away. I guess I had a quarter of a century of having other people tell me when I had to report for work. And I don't think I realized while that was true, how much I wanted it not to be true. So now I don't rise and grind. I don't do that. And also my little dog, who's pressed against me right now because it's a little chilly here, has no interest in the mornings at all. Just none whatsoever. So if I murmur to her at 6 or 7, I don't get a response at all. If I murmur to her at 8 or 9, she ratchets in close and pretends she doesn't hear me and tucks her head a little further down. If I murmur to her at 9 or 10, usually I will get a laboriously lifted little head and a look that could freeze your heart. Just the dirtiest look in the world, like, what do you want? Usually I have to wait, in other words, a good long time before Her Highness is willing to move in the morning. And again, for a quarter of a century, I could not afford that luxury, even to old and ailing dogs who very much wanted it, and it broke my heart that I couldn't do it. So now I can. Now I can simply say to a little tyrant on the bed, well, we'll wait for you. And that's wide open time. During that time, I don't want to jump right back online. I get suffused with the noise of online. So instead, I will just read. So it's late at night and early in the morning. I don't say that I prefer either one. It's just I have a large amount of reading in both those times. So thankfully, the Kindle is right there. No need to worry if I'm going to run right through a book and have someone sprawled on my abdomen so I can't move. No worry about that at all. No hunting for a book. at 2 in the morning. Instead, the Kindle is right there. So then we move on to question 5. Halloween is coming. What is your favorite spooky read? Spooky reads I don't categorize books that way. They don't have any effect on me that way. I know canonically spooky books that I love. I absolutely love, not a book, but a short story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. I love that story. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. E.F. Benson's ghost stories. There are things that I like, but they aren't spooky to me, and I read them all year long. So that was a brief-lived triumph. We'll move on to question number 6. What is the ultimate comfort read for you? I suppose here that the ultimate comfort read would be that library of books that I know, that I've read so many times, that it doesn't feel like I'm reading them anymore when my eyes go over the page. It feels like something else. It feels like walking in a familiar field, or looking at the face of the moon, or every feature of which, every divot and dot of which I know so well. It doesn't feel like reading at that point with books like that. I don't know if you have, I imagine a lot of you have books like that, where it's not just that I'm rereading it. It's fine for me to reread a book and come across all sorts of stuff that I didn't notice the first time or even the second time. That's fine. I love that. I do a huge amount of that. But there's a handful of books where I don't know how many times I've read it. I am not doing any of that uncovering new earth at all. I suppose that would count as comfort reads. And I don't know if there's an ultimate. There's about 20 books that are like that. Question number 7 is, what is your favorite autumnal reading snack? I don't snack while I read. You know why? Because while I'm reading, I'm reading. I'm not diverting my attention to anything else. I'm not dragging my attention with anything else. I don't have a beverage nearby that I'm worried about spilling on my reading material. I don't have a snack nearby that I'm worried about getting crumbs on my reading material. Or I'm worried about, am I going to reach it? Am I going to knock over the bowl? Is a dog going to go at the bowl? I don't have anything like that. I don't have my phone right there with the notifications on and blaring. I don't have anything like that. Why would I do that? I read when I'm reading. So I don't have a favorite reading snack. When I want to snack, I snack. Let's move on to question number 8. What is your favorite autumnal candle to burn while reading? Oh my God. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to burn a candle while I'm reading a paper book. That's exactly what I'm going to do. That makes such perfect sense. I don't burn candles at all. Only a stupid, unresponsive human nose could think they smell like the thing on the label. They don't. They don't smell that way. They don't. They smell like petrochemicals, with the tiniest, lightest overlay of some gesture at the only part of it that your nose can actually smell. Well, I can smell the whole thing. And it's grotesque. Not that I would do it anyway when I'm reading a book. I want a candle nearby when I'm reading a book. No, I don't. So let's move on to question number 9. This might be why nobody tags me. Question number 9. When you're not reading, what is your favorite autumnal activity? Can I say writing? See, the problem here is that unlike the rest of you, I do almost nothing else but read and write about what I read. It's not that I'm writing, the great American novel. I read and I write about what I read. And I do almost nothing else. I don't go to the gym. I don't go to classes. I'm widely hated, so I have no close friends or relatives. I have no obligations of any kind except my little dog, who increasingly needs no obligations. Increasingly is more than happy to just hang out all day. Sometimes when I look around me and think, it's the middle of the day, it's time for a nice long walk. Sometimes when I do that now, I get an indifferent look. I get, convince me. And I know that more of that is coming. So the rest of you have answers to these questions, to this kind of question, and I love hearing them, specifically because I'm living vicariously through you. But favorite autumnal activity that isn't reading. If I can't say writing, then I suppose it would be walking my little baby, walking my bean outside. I'm looking like that because she's right next to me. I suppose that would be that. It's not very exciting, I know. let's see here. Question number 10. What is on your autumn/fall reading list? Now, here we go. Here we go. I have a lot of books. Let me find them. I have a lot of books that I want to read just immediately, just this coming week. Yeah, okay, there's this thing. I don't know how I'm going to get this. I might have to buy it. I don't know who the publisher is, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to send out copies for review, because who's going to review it? This is an abridgment, a one-volume abridgment of Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. I have only one abridgment of that book. Oh, no, two. I have two abridgments. I don't know who did the abridgment here, but this is a gorgeous deluxe hardcover edition with sprayed edges that the kids like so much, and etchings by Piranesi. And I really want it. Me want it. Very much so. I imagine that this is just a reprint house, and that the one-volume abridgment here is a standard one-volume abridgment, probably one that I already have. There are two main one-volume abridgments of The Decline and Fall that have just gone from Remainder House to Remainder House. Usually when a Remainder House wants to put together a one-volume Decline and Fall, let's say that Borders wants to make a special edition, or Barnes & Noble does, usually they'll just buy that. They won't have anybody go through the whole of The Decline and Fall and abridge it themselves with a new abridgment. They'll just buy an existing abridgment. So probably I have read this already, but it looks so pretty. And that's one that I want. Can I find other pictures here? Okay, Marvel Comics has a full-color comic book reprint line, the Epic Collection, and they are doing, I believe this is a reprint of the great Mark Waid, Ron Gurney run on Captain America. That is just, this is the best that I know this is blasphemy, because Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, when they revived the character, did a run of short, like 6-page Captain America adventures in the modern day that are incredible. But even so, I honestly think this is the best Captain America of them all. I just love these issues. I have a little trade paperback of one of them, but a big Epic collection with everything, I would very much take that. I think that's coming out this month. Okay, there's another Epic collection. While we're on another comic book Epic collection, Marvel Comics has decided to do an Epic collection of Prince Namor the Submariner. This is called The Invasion of New York, and it is, if I'm guessing correctly, the issues that are reprinted in here, there'll be some late Bill Everett artwork, Bill Everett being the guy who created the Submariner, and some weird issues with Steve Englehart doing this. I wonder if it's on here. Yeah, Steve Englehart and Bill Everett. And the cover also says Don Heck do some of the artwork. I don't think he does it all. Bill Everett, of course, draws the issues that he's responsible for. But this is the cover, a great John Romita Sr. cover, just a fantastic cover there with John Romita Sr.'s famous Spider-Man design. And that is Prince Namor in his natty new costume, which tells me that this volume probably reprints the issue where Prince Namor is caught in an explosion and temporarily loses his ability to be amphibious. You know, breathe for a few minutes out in the air, and then he starts to asphyxiate. In the issue where he actually learns that, he passes out, and the Fantastic Four, his old friends / enemies, take him to Reed Richards' laboratory, and Reed Richards tells him this, that you have undergone a medical catastrophe and we need to deal with it. And Prince Namor doesn't believe him and breaks out of the container in the laboratory and does start to suffocate, so he only has a few minutes, which is just about long enough for him to mop the floor with the whole of the Fantastic Four. And then he collapses, and when he wakes up, he's wearing this outfit, which has piping that has water in it to keep his body moisturized in the air. And John Romita designed the costume, and it's really, really eye-catching and good, and so good that in fact later writers, Prince Namor of course recovers from that trouble and is able to breathe in the air and in the water again. But some later writers for the Submariner just gave him that costume because it's so cool. I don't know exactly which issues are in here. I imagine that some of them will be quite bad, and I also don't know if this volume will present me with my usual dilemma when it comes to Marvel reprint volumes. I've sort of made a mental note to myself that I will never pay for Herb Trimpe artwork. And I can't be 100% sure that this volume doesn't have any. I might have to check. I might have to read up online. I have all these issues. individual issues in boxes here, but I might have to read up online and see what's reprinted in this volume so that I don't accidentally buy Herb Trimpe artwork. Then another thing, I think this is coming out in October or maybe November. This is the latest in deluxe reprint volumes of A Song of Ice and Fire, George R.R. Martin's unfinished fantasy epic. They've got all the way up to Feast for Crows. I have the first 2 volumes of this and really like to have the one. I need all of them because these are beautifully done. They're full of original artwork. They've got these plush, squishy leather covers. They're really solidly made. I'm not usually much for gift or special edition books of any kind, but these are terrific. Just a lovingly, amazingly done thing. And they are also the occasion for the world's slowest reread. Because every time, these come out like once every other year, and every time one comes out, I reread it. So I am slowly rereading A Song of Ice and Fire. And this is the next one. I don't remember exactly when it comes out. Okay, then Adam Christopher. I don't know when this comes out either. This is a new Star Wars novel, Master of Evil. Apparently the story of the origin of Darth Vader. Not the initial moment of the origin. Not that dumb, incredibly dumb, amazingly dumb moment, but everything that followed after that. So Vader gets off the table. His badly burnt and mangled and amputated body has been put inside a horrific exoskeleton. What happens between then and the moment when we first see him in Star Wars? How does he become Darth Vader? He's named in that scene, but how does he become this character? And I guess this novel is going to do that. I have no idea what the status is of Star Wars novels. When George Lucas owned his own franchise before he stupidly, cowardly sold it, he kept an eye on all the fiction. There was an extended universe and nothing was ex cathedra. And I don't know if that's true anymore. I'm not sure if there's anyone overseeing Star Wars novels, so it could be that this contradicts established non-canonical lore. No idea. I'm a sucker for it anyway, so we shall see. What else we've got here? Okay, I could go on all day with this. We'll just do one more. This is Alex Wellerstein. This is his book, The Most Awful Responsibility, about Harry Truman and the atomic bomb. Not only the decision to use it, but also then what do you do with it? What do you do when you're the only nation in the world that has a literal doomsday weapon? What do you do with it? How do you, for instance, in the best case scenario, prevent it from ever falling into the hands of anyone else? How do you prevent a nuclear world? And I don't know anything about this book. If Alex Wellerstein is taking his marching orders from contemporary biographical treatments of Truman, then this will be very sympathetic and positive. I'll read it anyway. On the outside, this is a very easy subject, so there's a good chance that this will be an easy book, a dumb sloganeering book. On the outside chance that it's not, I will read it and hope for the best. But I don't want to just keep going on because I did jot down. There's The American Revolution and the Fate of the World by Richard Bell. We saw that on this channel. I haven't got to it yet, but it's definitely on my fall reading list. Breath of the Gods by Simon Winchester. I've kind of sort of enjoyed his last few books. They seem a little bit like a dawdle, but that's okay. He's not getting any younger. And this one is about wind. So I have no idea what to expect. There's a gigantic book by Sven Berkert called Capitalism. It's like that huge. And I am naturally expecting David Murphy to review it for Open Letters. But I still want to read it. And that's going to be an undertaking. Well, no, I don't want to keep going. So we'll move on to question number 11, which is to tag others. And I don't remember off the top of my head who Pat tagged on this thing or who would want to be tagged by me. If you do get all into the cozy vibe for autumn, then feel free to do this, and I will definitely watch. But in the meantime, I'm going to wrap this up. But I'll be back. Thank you.